Right, okay. So do us a favor, have a roller nearby, but come down and lie on the floor. So take yourself into a full body stretch. That's how we start today. No. So full body stretch. I want you to cross your right leg over left. And then left wrist cross. So clasp your palms together, left over right, and stretch. So we're just kind of like wringing you out. Do you remember last week I was talking about rinsing? And we're going to kind of continue on that theme. So just rinse and go long. Somebody's trying to squeeze you out and rinse out. Oh, your body. Start there. Good. Okay. So what I'd like us to do now is to uncross the legs, lift the left leg an inch or two off the floor, point and flex and point and flex. Okay, start there. So the heel, the whole leg is off the floor, the knee is stretched out. Okay, lovely. And then release it down, switch sides. So we lift an inch or two off the floor, and it's a point and flex, point and flex. Feel that stretch around the knee joint. Feel the stretch at the back of the knee and thigh and the front of the thigh. Okay, and relax, release. Windscreen wipe, dishwash, windscreen wipe. That's where we're going. So just relaxed ankles, roll your feet side to side, left to right. Notice knees slightly bending and coming into play. Okay, stop. Point toes, roll feet side to side. You might get a bit of crampage here doing that, but that's fine. And now flex the feet, fully flex at the ankles and roll side to side. You might feel restricted. And again, this might be having a bit of a conversation on what's going on further up the chain, probably into the hip joints. And relax. Okay, arms. So just for now, I want you to take your arms out to the sides, palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down. That's not so bad, right? Okay, lovely. I like this just to warm me up. Squeezing out at my elbows, so rinsing out at my elbows as I'm stretching my arms out to the sides, like really getting that lengthening going on. Okay, from there, I bend at the elbows, palms up. Notice your shoulder blades, see how they move. So adjust your shoulder blades, lengthen your neck, draw your chin downwards as if there was an apple between your chin and your chest. That's your setup. The hands are simply going to drift away from the floor, up towards the ceiling, and then down to the floor, palms down at hip height. And repeat. So up and down, that's all. So it's interesting, this one, because you'll feel the shift in your shoulders. You'll notice what's going on, possibly around the front of the chest, into your armpit, but also notice how the flatness of the shoulder blade is feeling and moving against the ground. Okay, leave it up. So pee on a fork, you've got your head, you've got your arms sticking out to the sides, your elbows are bent at 90 degrees and your palms are up towards the ceiling. Now you're going to draw your arms into your waistline and pinch. And try, if you can, to keep the back of the hands on the floor at all times. Now, mine just want to lift up. So we're drawing the elbows down into a low V. And try and keep those hands, back of the hands on the floor, and then up, up, up into a high V. Low V, high V. It's more about keeping the elbow on the floor, brushing the floor at all times. You will naturally want to lift up the arm, but work on keeping those knuckles down if you can. Okay, lovely. So again, this is just that lovely shoulder mobilization. And why we're doing it on the floor is because you get in that external feedback. So if I was to get you to do some of these movements in stand, you wouldn't have anything just telling you that your positioning is correct. When you're doing this off the floor, you're getting just brilliant 100% feedback, telling your body you're doing the right thing in space. This is where your body should be. And the idea behind that is then we put you into stand away from the floor, repeat the movements, and hopefully there's enough muscle maturity and movement maturity that will help you retain those good postures. So that's why we do what we do. Okay, so back to rinsing. Knees bent, feet towards the bum. Without style or precision, drop the knees side to side, just rock side to side. Shoulder blades down, rib cage down and still. So we're kind of moving from the waistline, eye gaze towards the ceiling. A little mini confession, I've got a bit of ring spinny, so I will not be performing full movement patterns. So do as I say, not necessarily as I do. Okay, so the idea here with that rinsing, we're just with repetition, we're warming up around the middle of the back into the lower back. Yes, yes. Now slow it down and stop on one side. Now, unusually, I'm going to ask you to just to pulse for 8, just tiny little bounces, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then drop. Like, just let the knees drop, just let go. You might notice that the knees will separate a little, but just let it go for a second. Okay, come back to center, switch sides, drop and hold. It's more of a drop and pause rather than drop and hold. And now bounce again. 8, 7, 6, 5. Feels weird, huh? Feels weird? It's like you've got no control over the movement. Drop and hold, let go, just let go. Okay, and I'm hoping you're noticing a control drop and a let go drop, how it feels differently. And this again is just talking to different parts of your nervous system and just working through sometimes where there's pain, we hold, and where there's pain, we need to release. Okay, the next thing is soles of the feet together, let the knees drop wide. Let's take our attention to the pelvic floor. So while we're here, I just want us to start with tiny wee little pulses, pulse, 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 pulse. Now this does feel a little bit weird to start with, but tiny little pulses. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And then drop and let it go. Right, okay. So I want you to take your attention to the center of your pelvic floor. So think about the perineal area between front and back. Just try and relax and let go. Do you remember I used to talk to you about the pre-wee tingle? So just allowing the bladder to relax, allowing the pelvic floor to relax, 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 to that point where you might feel like you need a wee. So at that point, we just gently lift and contract. And let go. So tiny contractions. So I can feel where my hips are, my hip bones are protruding. They're not really protruding, but in my mind, they're protruding. Okay, I can feel my ligaments contracting and tension on. So even though I am lifting up through my pelvic floor, my lower, deeper core muscles are starting to kick in. And I'm hoping that you're starting to feel the same. Okay, now, with the pelvic floor, we're going to the full relax, and then we're going to maximum contract. Full relax. When we maximum contract, it's almost like your back starting to flatten into the floor. So just be conscious of that happening. It's okay for that to happen because you couldn't hold that maximum contraction. That'd be just too much, too intense. And then let's find that midway. So held comfortably. Got it? And release. Okay, bring the knees back up to center. Okay, so I'd like us here to come into half tabletop. Let's lift up the left leg. Have a quick posture check. You have 90-degree angle. The thigh is vertical to the ceiling. The shin is parallel to the ceiling. Okay, so once we're in tabletop, we're just going to draw some small circles. This is called one leg circle. Small movement. Okay, switch direction. So keep the shin parallel to the ceiling. That's your focus. My back is going ding, 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 ding. It's telling all sorts of stories. Okay, because we're loosening up the hip to pelvic connection. Okay, up and hold. And we're just going to allow the knee to drop out as if you open a gate. Your shin faces me, and then it goes right the way back to parallel. So at the top, just have a quick posture check. Make sure you haven't lost your angles. So we're dropping out to the side. Feel the relax on the inner thigh. Contract, bring it back in and reset. Okay, let's keep repeating that 2 or 3 more times. Now notice what's going on the non-moving side. Work on keeping it still, please, because it wants to mirror the movement. Last time, up and hold. Now, hopefully we're starting to fatigue into this area. You should feel tension on. We're holding. So a static stretch here. We're holding. Okay, from here, we are going to straighten off at the knee joint, sending the foot towards the ceiling. Notice anything else going on in the back. Repeat that again. So it's up, up, up. Squeeze the front of the thigh. Bend at the knee. Good, good, good. 2 more times. Up, up, up. Bend, bend, bend. Last time. Up, up, up. Pop it down. Whole thing down, release, relax. Switch legs. So we start in tabletop. Lovely. And we repeat again. Small circles, nothing too onerous. But notice how those core muscles are kicking in and protecting you. So we need those core muscles to do their job. Okay, switch direction. And again, take your attention to what's going on the non-moving side. Work on keeping it still. Lovely. Okay, so there's always contraction going on in the body. Pelvic floor knows what it's doing. Diaphragm is depressed. We're nice and still. Okay, from here, the knee drops out to the side, comes back in. Create a little bit of lightness under the still side. A lightness under the still side's foot. So as your moving hip drops out and in, you feel all your body connection and power right the way into the base of the foot that's not moving. 2 or 3 more here. Now I've incorporated a gentle breath, up and hold. Same thing, we're looking to extend and then bend. So lengthen out of the knee joint, squeeze its thigh, bend the knee, reset tabletop. And again. I know, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because there should be fatigue in the area. That whole section should be thinking about contraction, extension. We've used all the muscles wrapping around your corset here to perform that last series of movement patterns. Last time, foot down, and just give yourself a moment. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, so from here, let's have a look at our bridges. I want to incorporate arms into this today. So there should be 4 stages to this movement. Inhale to tilt the pelvis. This almost flattens off your back. Exhale to lift the spine and the arms all the way overhead. Squeeze the butt press out of the heels. Inhale at the top. Exhale, slowly let the spine down. When you're halfway down, start to bring those arms down with it and reset. Inhale to tilt. Exhale to drive the hips towards the ceiling. Arms come overhead with you. Keep pushing upwards. Inhaling at the top. Exhaling as you roll down and bring the arms down with you. Now, before we repeat, slide your feet out a touch. Inhale to tilt the pelvis. Exhale to drive the hips towards the ceiling. Squeeze the bum. Arms overhead at the top of the movement. Really press out of your heels. As you breathe out, the spine comes down. Midway of that spine coming back down, the arms come back down with you. Repeat. Inhale to tilt. Lovely, lovely movement. Really enjoy the pressure, pushing your bottom upwards. So we're really thinking about how the glutes are firing into this movement. So it's almost like the bum is pushing you upwards. The abs are helping you control downwards, okay? So do this one more time, but before you do it, slide those feet away further. Hello, hamstrings. Inhale to tilt, exhale to drive. Arms up, up, squeezing through the bottom. Slowly melt the spine back down. Oh, and arms to your sides. Well done, that was nice, wasn't it? Well, I love that. Okay, good job. So keeping us on our backs for a little while longer, just last series, and then we start to move on our sides. Okay, so we bring the feet together. Knees are bent. Lengthen through the neck, brace through the core, pelvic floor nice and lifted. So we've got that check, 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 check. Shoulders squeezed together, chest open, collarbone lifted. Bring up leg one. Bring up leg two. There you go. There you go. Lovely. Okay, send out leg one. Bring in leg one. Send out leg two. That's interesting. Intuitively, I seem to know where my breath is. So exhale on exertion, inhale on retraction. So push out as you, it's kind of like a sniff, hold. So use that breath power to really optimize your diaphragm. So those strong, forceful breaths out or a slow, controlled breath. I don't mind either one. Lovely, lovely. So this is single leg stretch. The slower we do this, the more those deep core muscles are firing into us. Lovely, lovely. One more each way. Draw your knees into chest and give yourself a hug. Now, before we progress, let's have a look at a nice stretch here. Hold on to the shins, and I want you to use your arms to pull the knees to your chest. So we're using the arms to squish your thighs towards your chest. What you should get a stronger stretch through the bottom. Okay, if you can, I want you to lift up and come into happy baby. So there's lots of ways to do this. You can use your fingers and wrap your fingers around your big toes. You can hold on to the inside arches of the feet. You can hold on to the outside edges of your feet, all of which would just change the shape and movement a little bit. But you do what you feel comfortable. If you're finding all of that too much, one leg only. So repeat, do it one side, repeat on the other, and it will help you get to both legs at the same time. Okay, now work on getting your shoulders down rather than your head lift, if that makes sense. So it's more about maintaining that alignment. And see now if we could just take the feet a little wider. Okay. As I often reflect, It's also a very good position to make sure you're relaxed through your pelvic floor, unless you've had too many oats this morning. Now from here, let's see if we can just stretch off the legs. So take your hands to your inner thigh and straighten out your knees. So what should happen is your feet will start to drift outwards. Use your hands to just gently press the thighs away. Now flex the feet and actively send your toes towards the ground. So instead of the legs just gently stretch, you're fully stretching, flexing the feet, really draw your toenails towards your shins, and then see if you can send your toes towards the ground. So this should feel fairly intense. So stay here as long as you need and rest out when you're ready. Okay, relax, relax. Bring your feet down towards the floor. And now we're going on to our sides. Right. So do you remember last week when we did our sideline exercise? I wanted you to do two things. You need to bring the roller into play. And the most important thing is about your arm that you're lying on, or the side you're on. You need to tuck it under your ribs. And then you need to lift your ribs. So it's a bit of a weird one. So hang in there. The idea is that we got perfect alignment. Now from here, I'm just resting my head on the roller, so my spinal alignment is nice and set. Okay, and it's top leg lift, knee, ankles same height, lifting up off the rib, so I'm not cutting off the circulation on my hand. Now, if that's too much, you're more than welcome to bring your hand forward, but notice how your ribs lump. So we need to keep those ribs lifted at all times where possible. Okay, so it's 8. So this is your starting point, knee stacked. 8 times you're going to repeat this, and the last time you go into full stretch. So the idea is over 8 small moves, your leg gets closer to extension. And when we get to 8, we start again. Lovely. Okay, so let's do that again. So tiny little presses, it's almost like an inch at a time. We did this last week. Press, and of course you've been following it back on the video that we sent you. On your 8th one, press away, toe down, heel up, come back in. So you've got a little bit of internal hip rotation here. Same thing. Tiny, weeny, little presses. 4, 3, 2, fully extend and hold. Your heel is higher than the baby toes. Hold it there, hold it there. Okay. Now from there, we are going to press upwards. Up, up, up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Reset. So your knee is facing forward. Lovely. Your heel and your baby toe is the same height. We're going to circle no bigger than a T plate. Here we go. So 8, 7, any direction. 6, 5, 4, ribs lifted. Switch direction. Weeping. Out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Well done. Knee down and just rest out your booty. Woo! That was nice, wasn't it? Okay, right. So before we switch sides, I will remember that. I remember what we've just done. Okay, so before we switch sides, top hand comes down onto the mat. Push yourself away into an upright position. So you're sat up in mermaid. Right, okay, from here, I need you to think about your bottom arm now. We're just going to roll out and in a little bit. Sorry for zoning out there, guys. Right, so your knees are staggered. You're just going to roll out and pull in. Apply a little bit of pressure through your wrist as you roll out and pull in. I need you to keep that lovely long spine and beautiful alignment, keeping the ear away from the shoulder. Feels quite nice. You get a bit of a mini massage around the hip as well, don't you, when you go out and in? Now, if you want to, you can lift the top leg. So we're going to do that anyway. We're going to lift that top leg and hold it. So we roll out and pull in. Notice the connection to the pelvic floor here. So whilst we're here, just pull up, draw in, float the leg, roll out and in. 4 and 3 and 2. Last time. And release. Good job, everyone. Whew. Okay, grab yourself a drink. We're going to switch sides. We're going to come down onto the floor and to the other side. No, I'm all right, love. Right. So think about that alignment setup when we come down into the lion position. So the knees stacked. You're lying on that bottom elbow, so it's all nice and tucked in. You're lifting up. Oh. Right, so we're lifting up through the rib cage, the knees are stacked. Think about everything nice and relaxed. Relaxed around the ankles. We're pushing down towards the bottom of your yoga mat 8 times. So it's tiny little presses. 7, 6. Think about the connectivity. So think about the hip, lengthening the leg each time and resetting at the top with stacked knees each time. Okay, let's go again. 8, 7, 6, 5. Lovely. Ooh, you should be starting to get it now, right? 2, 1, stop. Toe down, heel up. Bring the knee back in, reset. Here we go, 8 times. So we've got 2 rounds of this. 7, 6, hello. 5, ooh. 4. My hip felt so much better after doing this last week. I really felt like I'd got release. Okay, last time. So let's go. 8, 7, 6. Tiny little presses. 5, 4, 3. Lovely. Oh God, that's just horrible, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to lift up tiny, weeny little presses. Remember these? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, making sure your knee is now pointing towards me for the next 8, 7, 6, 5. Whew. Okay, stop. We circle. 8 circles in one direction, 8 circles in the other. Okay. Now, you might notice that your circles are more like squares. That's completely normal. Think about your alignment. Think about the space under the ribs. Okay, switch direction. 8. Oh, I nearly tried to stop then. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then release. Good job. Whew. That was nice, wasn't it? Oh, so when you're ready, you're going to push yourself up into an upright position. Lovely. Your knees are staggered, so we're getting a bit of a stretch at the same time. Your roller, hand on the roller, nice and lengthened and braced. We're rolling out and in. So, whew, how do we feel? One side feels the same as the other. Okay, hold. Top leg lifts. We're going to maintain that as we roll out and in. Good job. Two. Last time. Okay, so here we are. Upright, we're coming on to all fours, and then we're going to settle back down. Do you remember last week I talked about at length the power of the power of child's pose? Pulled my battery out then. The power of child's pose. So just play with it. Find the thing that works for you. Part one, make it a relaxed pose, a transition hold. Breathe, relax. The one that you like, go into. Now, interestingly, if you opted for the blue roller to keep your wrists on the roller, you think about your shoulders. It's stronger. And now let's make this a dynamic or a stronger pose. Think about pushing your bottom onto heels. Think about how you can elongate, and it's almost like you're lifting the shoulder blades off your ribs and shoving them forward. So I want you to push your edges on the stretch. Do you need your knees to go wider? Would you prefer them closer? Have a little play on how you feel with this. I'm a fan of keeping my elbows together, my palms together, bottom on heels, stretching forward because I can feel that beautiful stretch in my back. And then see if I can drop my ears between my arms, sending my fingers towards the ceiling. Well done, team. Okay. So last week, again, I'm just kind of going over, because last week was I loved it. I really enjoyed teaching that. It's great fun. But, you know, it happens when you go back to basics, you start getting everything moving and zhuzhing up, and then we can do some really crazy, wonderful things. Okay. 4-point kneeling, but rest your hands on the surface of your roller. Your hands are roughly a hand width apart, so they're narrow in positioning. What we're looking for here is to bend the elbow and drop the chest towards the roller. Breathe out to push your body back to reset. Now, as you do that, I want you to just gently tuck under and think about tension on through the pelvic floor. Inhale into lower, exhale into lift. Inhale into lower, exhale into lift. Now, you might be feeling it around the top of the elbow joint. So adjust your hands, push out of the whole of the hand. If you're finding it's too much, try putting your hands flat on the floor. There's always options. Well done. And then release. Good. Okay, so just sit back, roll out your wrists. Oh. And then from there, let's come back up into our lovely position, cat-cow. Chin to chest, lovely round through the back, hands still rested on the rollers. Drop the chest, lift the tail, add in some movement if you want to. Pull up, chin to chest, and then reset in neutral. To curl your toes under your heels for 4 breaths. We take a breath in, exhale, lift the knees and hold. Knees come down, relax the feet, just move out of that position. Again, I hear you say. Reset, tuck tail, so you don't feel any impingement in the back. So we're just gently tucking under, pulling your belly into your backbone, curling the toes, breath in, exhale, lift the knees. 4, 3, 2, knees down, come out of the pose. What was that? You want to do that one more time? Okay, we can do that for you, no problem. So reset, curl toes, 8, should do 8, knock it out the park. Let's just do it. Come on, let's do it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, knees down. I met on New Year's Eve. I was just reminded then. I met on New Year's Eve an old client that I used to personal train many, many moons ago. And do you know how she introduced herself to me or introduced me to others? This lady can't count. Literally, that was her line. Okay, you're going to straddle the roller, still kneel down, just pop your bottom on the roller. I went, I'm sorry, what do you mean? And she went, you're a ruthless personal trainer and you could never count. Whenever you said 8, you meant 12. So she introduced me to her friends. It was quite funny. I think she's got a point there, hasn't she? Okay, what I'd like us to do now is some really tight pelvic floor work, okay? So we're going to be, if you find being on your knees is too much, stand. Okay, so what I thought I'd do is just lift the roller. So the bottom of it, the tail of it is on the floor, but I've got the roller between my knees. Okay, so the moment I'm just pointing straight to camera, but I'm going to change my angles in a minute. The idea is that we're going to do some squeeze and release work. It will feel like there's no movement going on, but your body will be going up a lot. Okay. Now, the reason I'm turning on my side, because I just want you to see where I'm at with my posture. So as soon as you pick up the roller and grip it, your bum will want to stick out. So we've got to think about the tail. Now, if you're finding seated, kneeling is too much, stand, okay? So, and I need it to be the roller, not the ball. So tuck the tail, and I want us to squeeze everything inward and then relax it off. So clench for dear life and then release. So we're clenching the bum, and what you might notice, the whole of the undercarriage is all contracting and creating tension, and then release. The roller might slide. So squeeze, 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 tuck tail, brace abs, think about what's going on through the middle of the body, and then relax. And I've noticed that when I start to relax, it's almost like glutes relax first, and then I can actually feel my hamstrings relaxing. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Okay, squeeze, brace, tight, strong shoulders back and down, lift chest, and then let it go. Okay, last time. So nice and tall, lift up, think about your Pilates posture, tuck it under your tail, brace in, and then release, let go, sit down. So it's almost like some people have got like dimples in the top of their bottom, if you like, at the into lower back, and you can almost feel, it's called the erector spinae. You've got these bum muscles that kind of go around the top of your booty into your bum crack. I know, but you might have felt that. You may have felt tension around the outside of your hips at the same time. So it's like a combination of movements, but it's definitely one worth persevering with. And because you're doing a full grip, you're also helping to lift up the pelvic floor muscles as well. Lift around the bladder. So you're pulling everything's going up and tight and in and strong. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so we're going to come round. So our bottom is on the roller, and we're coming into spinal twist and a bit sore. Okay, so first thing that I notice, because we have done quite a bit of pelvic floor focus, I notice as I bend my knees and come forward and backwards, I can feel myself going over my like my undercarriage. So I'm conscious of that. And again, anatomy, it's your pelvic floor is like a hammock, so that goes north, south, and then another hammock that sits kind of underneath it, east, west. And your right leg, left leg, the muscles will carry on going upwards and internal and hang on to the insides of the pelvis. So it's all connected. So often we do a lot of front and back release, but this will also help us with side to side release by just rolling over that roller. And it's probably something you wouldn't do unless you're in a Pilates class. You don't go, oh, I'm going to just roll out my pelvic floor. Ah. Okay. So in terms of positioning, I need the roller, your tailbone, to be hanging off the back of the roller. So it's almost like as you sit on your roller, it's your thighs that are on the roller. Okay. Long and tall through the spine, squeeze your shoulder blades together. So it's almost like you feel like your chest is sticking out. Okay, so that's kind of the vibe I need you to be to get you into the right position. This will turn off your legs. Okay, all I need now, right hand, right inner thigh, press away. So you're looking towards your left. It doesn't matter where your head is. If you want to continue to turn, feel free. Come back to center. Left hand inside left thigh, press. So put in some connection there and push your body away. Push to rotate. We're looking over the right corner. And if you want to continue to look with your neck, take those eyeballs, let them track around towards the back. So the muscles sometimes don't know when to turn off. So all I've done there is just relax off those muscles so we can now rotate with clarity. Okay, so your arms go out wide. Nothing moves in the bottom half of your body. So we rotate towards the left. Right hand lines up over right knee. Eye gaze almost just past your left toe. We're not going very far. We're coming back to center and repeating. So your chin remains in line with the center of your chest as you rotate. I mean, this is like old classic, old boring spinal twist, but so impactful in terms of how you hold yourself. Now, as we continue to do this, I want you to notice the back of your armpits into the back of your shoulder blades. So like really where your bra sits around them, just under your armpits. So as we're rotating, that's where I want you to notice and maybe draw attention, maybe contract and pull. So I need you long. I need a gold thread through the crown of the head. I need you tall. Enjoy that twist, because what we're doing here, we're now working those intercostals, your muscles that wrap around your ribs, but we're also working a smaller group of upper back muscles that are on underneath and above the surface area of your shoulder blades. They're the little tweaky buggers that end up going into spasms. So that's why we're here. Also helps us with our breath. Cool sits. Okay, I'm going to have to test myself now on what it is. Teres major, teres minor, infraspinatus, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres major, teres minor. They're the four. that we're working here, the ones I've just targeted. Okay, means nothing, right? Okay, so the next thing we need to do is rotate and fold. Now, remember what I said, your tailbone is behind you, pointing towards the back floor. We rotate and then we lean. Relax your knees, relax your thighs, because they want to bunch up. And as soon as they bunch up, game over. Rise up, rotate, lean. So we're relaxing the body, relaxing. So this is allowing that corset, allowing to give. So we've got more relaxation and rotation here. So it's very powerful when we do it well. So just reaching, pulling up, rotating, reaching. You may notice at this point your hamstrings, the back of the thigh is going, oh, hello. Good. That's what we want to happen. So again, all of these movements, the old classics, and they're classics for a great reason. So, and don't mess with a classic. All these are doing is just refreshing the body. And I talked earlier on about muscle maturity. The more we practice into things, the more the body holds those muscles in a certain fashion and manner, okay? So you just got to keep repeat, 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 repeat. Lovely. And release. Good. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to take our hands onto the top of the roller and allow your bum to drop onto the floor. Okay, now this is just a bit of an exercise in posture. Relax your legs. All I want you to do is just work on chicken wings. So your hands are wrapped around the roller. All I want you to do is to lengthen the neck, lift the chest, and draw your elbows together. So I'm not asking you to do anything else at this point other than that. So a bit of elbow squeezing. In the old days, if we were live, I would grab your, I would come behind and I just hold on to your elbows and just assist that stretch. So we're just opening at the clavicle and opening at the chest. Lovely. And release. Okay, so come back, lean back on it. Send your elbows. So this is, I've always talked to you about the beach pose. So you're sat up in a position where you haven't got fat rolls, but you can still see what's going on. What happens is quickly the ears will start to tuck into your head. So we need to push up and try not to let that neck disappear. So we're nice and tall. Good, good. Feet flat on the floor, knees bent. We're just going to rock your knees as we did at the beginning, side to side, okay? Lovely. So we're coming into some quite a strong core exercise. So we're going to let the knees drift to the side, pull them up to a circle and down to the other side. Up and down. Up and down. Now what will happen, suddenly there'll be earthquakes going on. Think about the chin to chest connection. Think about those core muscles, everything pulled inwards and upwards, because it's quite a tight movement as you roll side to side. Okay, lovely little circles, one direction, the other, and then still lift the chest. So we're not sinking, because straight away the body does this boom. So keep those shoulders down, neck long. Two more, one to one direction, one to the other, and just rest out. That was good, right? Well done. Okay, so from there, please, what I'd like us to do is to take the roller around again for last times. Oh, I had one more plan. Just changing it up so I can do it successfully with you. Okay. The last thing we worked on last week, let's take it was about the fear, wasn't it? So we were on all fours and we did the cat-cow and stuff. But what I want us to do is to work on plank to pike I'm not sure if I've got it in me. So just to refresh you, the idea is it was about the fear. Do you remember that? And it was just getting used to and keep reminding ourselves that it's okay to do these movements, because the fear caption stops us quicker than anything else. Okay, so it's shoulders under wrist. That's the key part here. The next thing that's really helpful in terms of cheating, but it's good, is bring the knees and feet together. So when you lift the knees and then straighten the legs into your plank formation, you should be in a rod-like shape. From there, you push back into pike and think about what's going on in your armpits, chin to chest. You might be shaking a little, rise up and come forward again into plank. Keep those thighs together. Breath in, breath out. So we're going to do this another 4 times. I know it's tough. I know it's tense. You've got this. And once you've completed that, then we can sit out. Okay. Okay. How do we feel? Before we do anything else, what I'd like you to do is send me your left hand, palm up, take the fingers and just press the heel of the hand forward to me. So we get a stretch out through the forearm, okay? Lovely. Circle the thumb. So you get a nice stretch around the meaty bit here. Lovely. And relax. Okay, switch sides. So right hand to me, palm up, and then just pull those fingers down. Enjoy the stretch through the forearm into the elbow. Circle the thumb. Clasp, entwine fingers, press the palms to me. Okay, hold that position. Send your hands up. And then release your arms. Twist again. This is how we started today. So left over right, chin to chest, stretch out. Enjoy that stretch in the back. Switch sides, right over left. Stretch to me, chin to chest, round out through the back. Now send your arms towards the sky. So just feel slightly different, just getting that movement in the shoulder. Take your hands into clasp if you can, behind your back. Same thing, open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together like you're pinching a pencil between your shoulder blades. Well done, and release. Roll your shoulders, okay, and settle into some breath work, whether you lie down or sit, I don't mind either way. That one. Okay. So if you want to, just, you guys, you know what to do. So make yourself comfortable. And the first order is take that breath, relax and slow it, change it. Like you've had enough, just breathe. Lovely. Relax those shoulders. Feel the journey of the breath. So through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, feel it coming into your lungs. So, and feel the lungs expand. Feel it continuing downwards into your belly. Just let it go, whether it's a forced breath or through the nostrils, really don't mind right now. I reminded you last week of Ujjayi breathing. And that's pressing the back of the tongue up against the roof of the mouth. Breathing through the nostrils. And as you breathe out, it feels like you're snoring or growling and forcing the breath out. So it's a very different style of breath work. And it's audible. For you, it might sound really loud, but it's important to kind of like really focus on it, because whilst you're focusing on that, you're not thinking about anything else. And that's what we want right now. Just switching off to the world. Okay. Now, in this moment, all I want you to do today is just take yourself off somewhere. Beach, mountains, somewhere with nature. Remember, like when we were young, we used to talk about just going for a walk in the woods or hanging out in the woods. It's what we would do as kids. Now it's called forest bathing. One of the things my husband drew my attention to once is when he discovered how the temperature changes from walking in the sunshine to walking through the woodland in the shade in the spring and the summer. And it's the oxygen. So the woodland breath, being surrounded by all that energy, is just phenomenal for us as humans. So take yourself somewhere that gives you that real vivid response to being in nature, in utter happiness. Could be in the ocean, could be wherever you like it to be. But be there, and be there utterly 100%. That's checking in with all senses. The smell of your surrounding. And notice how your ears move. The sound just switches where your attention is drawn to one thing close to you and another in the distance. Just keep checking in with that memory, how it made you feel. What did you touch? How did your skin respond to it? Were you warm? Take it all in. Take in nature as it is. Really reenacting that memory and evoking all those beautiful senses that brings you a sense of peace and just utter happiness. Now you've got all of that, there will be a hormonal shift in your body. When we reflect deeply into those moments of time, we change up our chemistry in our body. Really bringing us back into the moment. Really switching on those happy hormones, serotonin, your endorphins. And that's all part of the journey to self-discovery, self-esteem, and looking after self. Now we create some movement to our hands, checking back into this moment in time, creating movement to shoulders, maybe head, neck, feet, ankles, whatever it is. Sending your arms out wide, sending your arms up high. A big fat sigh, bring hands together, turn palms up, 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 really stretching out through elbows. Switch hands again, press hands together into the center of your heart space. Settle here for a second. Ah, well done, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Pretty awesome.